You're
Yep.
probably thinking that's a blessing that you don't have to look at me anymore. Okay?
Oh, come on, man. You look the same, dude.
Appreciate that. All right, so we got 10th studio album. I mean, you're killing it concert-wise. Folks love you. I mean, safe to say that you've done pretty well for a country boy from Macon, Georgia?
Yeah, hey, it's been a fun ride, man, and obviously, more than I ever could have thought possible for my career. But it's been fun, and I'm just glad they still kind of let me be part of the game at this point,
All right, I said 10th studio album. What was the thought process into thinking, now's the time to maybe do something involving the hometown with the Macon, Georgia?
Well, I think for me, recording my 10th album is just, at this day and age, I mean, that's a big feat to get to that. I mean, I remember cutting my first album, just hoping they'd let me cut the second one, so to be cutting number 10 was pretty special. And there was a few things we had never done. We had never done a double album. We had never done a live album or a greatest hits album. And this was kind of a way for me to incorporate all those things into one. And then, also for me, I mean, it all started for me in Macon. So, being able to kind of name check my hometown and letting them be a part of it, to me, was something I wanted to do. And, that's where I learned how to be a musician and play, and, playing at Whiskey River and Nashville South and the Georgia National Fair out in Perry and all those things that I did coming up. And it was where I learned how to do it all. And so it was just where it all started for me. And so I wanted to throw some love to Macon.
Describe your hometown. What are some of the things you tell
them? I think I just tell people, like, it was a great place for me to grow up. I mean, I was I grew up down there off of Hartley Bridge Road in South Macon, and grew up playing sports and doing all those things. And, you could go kind of into the city if you wanted to, or kind of hang out in the country a little bit down there where I was at. And it was fun, man. I loved it. I still have a ton of friends there. I love the music heritage that came out of that town, especially for me being a musician. It was just, you couldn't really help but sort of be influenced by all those things. And so for me, it was honestly like the perfect hometown.
All right, I need to know, those days when you were playing baseball at Windsor Academy and you're standing out in the outfield or on the on-deck circle, were you ever looking out past the fence and thinking, what lies down the road for me?
Not really. I mean, it's funny because at that time, playing ball was really my main focus. I mean, music was almost kind of a hobby to me at that point. And it was something I kind of did for fun, that I didn't really know what was going to happen with it. And I was more actually focused on baseball. And, little did I know sort of what was in store for life for me after graduating there and really kind of starting to hit the road when I was 18, 19 years old.
All right, now, people look at you now and they see the success, but they probably don't realize how difficult it was when you went to Nashville. There were struggles and everything. Were there ever times that you thought about, it's not going to happen, I'm going back to Macon and I'll see what lies there?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I moved here in 98, and in 2000, I got my first, actually in 99, I got my first record deal offer. And the deal kind of went south before I ever signed it. And then a couple of years later, I actually signed a deal with Capitol Records. I was at the label for a year, got dropped before I ever recorded one song for the label. And then it took me a few years to land the deal that I have now. And even when I landed that deal, it was Broken Bow Records. It was a little independent record company that really didn't have a whole lot going on, but it was the only company in town that would really give me an opportunity. So I signed with them and just, tried to make the best of it. And little did I know that, not only was I going to put myself on the map, but, I put that label on the map as well. And now you have guys like Dustin Lynch and Jimmy Allen and Lainey Wilson and, just all these other artists that are on the label now that, to watch where it was when I signed there to what it's become now. It's been fun to be a part of it from the ground up, and to know that you helped kind of build that is a pretty good feeling.
When you do albums, are there songs that you like more than others, favorite songs, and in particular, like on the new album, what are some of the ones that stick out? Or do you have to kind of keep an even mind about all the songs you're doing?
I mean, I try to always record songs that I enjoy performing, that I love to sing. And, ultimately I know if they're going to be a single, then I'm going to have to go play these songs every night. So I try to keep that in mind. I never want to do like too many ballads on a record or too many tempos or whatever. So you try to really just kind of make it flow well. And, you're always going to have certain songs that you probably like to do more than others. But at the end of the day, you want the whole. One thing I've always tried to do is not put, what we call album fillers on the record. I want them all to be really great songs, and I want people to listen to the album top to bottom and not want to skip any songs. So, and it also gives me a lot of other options when it comes time to pick what the actual single is going to be. I have a lot more options if I put, a ton of great songs on the record. So, there's that, and you're always going to have certain ones that stick out. I mean, obviously the duet with Carrie was one that, was a really big hit for us this year. And obviously one that's going to stick out on the album for sure. There's a song on the Georgia half of the album that's called Your Mama. That's actually a song.
Yes.
That's probably the most personal thing that I've ever cut, and something that I typically wouldn't cut. It's not typically the song that I would do, but this was a song that's basically kind of a letter to my son. I have 3 daughters who I love dearly, but I have one son. And it was basically a song for him and talking about his mom and how lucky he is to have her, and me too. And so it was just a really kind of personal thing that I otherwise would never record. But I felt like I wanted to record it more for him than anything else. So that one's kind of a standout for me on the record too.
That was the one song that jumped out to me too. And I was wondering what the personal story was behind it, because it seemed a little bit different, but yet really a great message. How do you keep the creative process fresh when you've been doing this for as many years as you have?
I don't know. It's something for me. I think certain songs when you're looking for songs for an album, certain songs kind of allow you to travel down different roads, and, whether that be rock or stone cold country or R&B or whatever it is. So I think a lot of times the songs dictate that. And, I think you get influenced by, or other artists and sometimes even new artists that are coming out, they're doing things different than you do. And you hear some things, you're like, man, that's pretty cool. And you figure out, it almost makes you push yourself a little harder too, to kind of keep up with what's going on. And, and for us, I mean, it's always been pretty easy for us, me, my band, my producer, Michael Knox, who's done every record with me. For whatever reason, when we get in the studio, it all just kind of comes out the way it does. And I don't want to say effortless, because there's a lot of effort put into it, but we just kind of all are on the same page, and we kind of, I turn the band loose, let them experiment. And sometimes it's cool. Sometimes I have to dial them back in and change some things up, but we just work really, really well together.
Oh, it sounds like the urge to keep doing it, what you're doing right now, the enjoyment factor obviously seems like it's still really high for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love it. I worked a long time to get to this point, and I still enjoy it as much as I ever did. And so, people ask me all the time, well, do you ever see yourself giving it up and kind of walking away? And I'm like, well, I don't really think that's going to be my decision, because I'll stay forever. So I think when the fans get tired of me and maybe don't want to hear it anymore and don't want to come out to shows anymore, that may be my answer then. So until that happens, I plan to stick around a while.
Pretty good stretch right here. I mean, you're dropping the album in November, and then in April, of course, again. Hey, the Bulldogs won the national championship. The Braves won the World Series. Pretty good time to be a Georgia boy, huh?
It's been an epic year. It's been an epic year. And, I was able to actually go to Houston when the Braves clinched out there. So I was out there, got to hang out with those guys and celebrate after the game. And that was a lot of fun. I didn't go to the Georgia game. I watched it at home. I had stuff in Nashville to do that day, so I watched it from home. But it's been a pretty epic year for us Georgia fans.
Jason, it's always great to catch up with you, my friend. Appreciate you taking time to be with us, and continued success.
Thanks, Frank. Good to see you, man.
All right, be good. Take care.
Yes.